やれやれだぜ。なんだからしたら。Anywho. But, as you can see, this is, what if Deku was Lord Boros? And he'll have, like, 2 extra forms. This one, that's sort of like, Meteoric Burst, but it's like Meteoric Burst full power. Yeah, because why not? And then this is, this is Galactic Burst. Yes. How? Wait a second. This is original. Nanida. But, Deku, he looked like a, normal, or nah. He only has the one eye. But, anywho. So, Deku, being born by, Inko and Toshinori Yagi. So, Oromoito! Nani desu kara? But, yeah. But, anywho. So, when this nigga born, he looks like this. He's wearing the exact same baby clothes. And he has a, sister. Izumi. I know, I'm original. But so Deku, when he's born, Inko, she throws that nigga at a wall. Because, if you don't, oh no, I'm making it to where most, I say most, in my what ifs, it'll only be that females have quirks and males are like down upon. Because, yeah, I like niggas that go against all odds. Because if I'm being technically honest, it's like me. Fat, yet I can run at 16 miles an hour when motivated. Well, properly, that is. Cough, cough. Mom threatens with video games. Nah, nigga, I'm booking it. But, anywho. So, it's either that or the belt. It takes one of the two. But, Toshinori, or fem, yeah, cause they got a sperm donor, okay? I was thinking about it and I was like, wait a second, but if I'm doing that, then, yep, sperm donor. But, yeah. And Deku, he already had, like, enough knowledge, like, that rivaled Nezu. And he could speak and walk at that age. And Deku's quirk was creation, but he has immortality thanks to, well, Boros. And I know y'all are like, wait, but Boros didn't have immortality. Now he does, nigga. I'm like, now he does. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, y'all like my new background? Monster Garo. Yeah, this is what's canon. My nigga, this is amazing. Like, it's, yes. He'll have this form when I, do What If Deku was Garo. It's funny, because I'll be the first person that has him with the extra form. Kid is in that. But, anywho. So, this nigga being, well, I don't know. This nigga walks up to All Might, who has her, like, old outfit with the white cape. He tugs on her, and he's, like, wearing the same outfit. And he says, Mom, He kicks the nigga. He goes flying through a wall. Here, let me see if I can find a picture. But yeah, he went through the wall. Burst. Chibi. Chibi, chibi, chibi. Can I get a chibi, my guy? Looks like this, but with here we go. This works. He like gets knocked through the wall and he like turns into this form. And he says, "Why would you do that?" And she says, "Because you're a filthy male. You are weak compared to us females. Now take your place, you insolent worm." I just pop into a story for a second and I just look at her as Goku Black and I'm just like, "You want to talk about being immortal? Well, then in that case, bow down." I then make the air heavy, smack her down. I look at him and I say, "Here, kid." I give him access to the hyperbolic time chamber. Well, his own little mini version. And he says, "What's this?" And I explain to him how the hyperbolic time chamber works. What? Excuse me? But, anywho. Deku, since they want nothing to do with the nigga and they abuse him as soon as they get home, while like favoring Izumi, this nigga goes into the hyperbolic time chamber, but instead, and like I already left, I dipped because I had an appointment with Femme. Alright, I'm going to state it. Femme Vegito. Femme Vegito. Yep. Shitty bad. But, anywho. Sorry, I'm doing this to cope with my loss. And by loss, I mean my loss of a girlfriend. Yeah, life isn't quite fun. But, anywho. This nigga on that grind. He doing 12 million push-ups, 12 million sit-ups, 12 million kilometer run, 12 million squats, 100 million pull-ups, 100 million lunges. But yeah, this nigga, he got to the point where he looked like this. But he didn't have the armor. This we'll go with boros. Boros. Me looking for casual wear. Y'all just like, what is this nigga doing? Get on with the video. Me who's just like, I need to find this. But like, it's been 6 years, so like, Femomite and Ingo, they don't know what happened to him. They think the nigga's dead. They threw a party. They got out that top shelf wine, my nigga, and we're drinking. Please, nigga, I'm not looking for actual clothes. My nigga. No. Here we go. Bruh, Fubuki bad, bruh. I'ma be honest. My nigga, why is there no fan art? None either. Bruh, but Shotty bad. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all know what? Fem Todoroki is the reincarnation of Fubuki. Yep, cause why not, nigga? Then Shawty love bad. Shawty love bad. Yeah. Come on. Cause Shawty love bad. You know what? Never mind. That nigga just wearing a hoodie. Okay, he wearing a. Yes, nigga, this works. He's wearing that hoodie. Cause why not? My guy, like, why not? You know what, nigga? We this, please. But anywho, so he continued to train. He like wearing a hoodie, along with some freaking shorts. And this nigga, he looked like this. So yeah. Now that I think about it, I probably should have logged in. But anywho, yeah. But he got that, and he got the armor as well. He can make it to where it's on him, to where it's not. He can choose. Beggars can't be choosers, but real niggas can and be users. Hold up, excuse me, nigga. But oh yeah, and his armor is black and blue instead, cause nigga, that just looks dope. Like, I'm gonna be honest, right, bro? I'm gonna be real with you. So yeah, he looks like that. And he'll wear like a school uniform, but it'll be like real big on him. This nigga finna be smiling like that. But anywho, well, whenever he fights like a strong opponent, but that'll hardly ever happen. But anywho, it's been 8 years for him. Darn it, I probably should have got another picture. You feel me? But yeah, with the freaking black and blue. But yeah, and he like comes out of nowhere wearing that, and then like, oh my, she like punches the nigga because she thought it was our villain, bruh. Nigga don't even move, like he do not flinch. And he says, "Mom, what are you doing?" And she says, "Huh? Oh, it's you filthy male." And he says, "Whatever, you filthy casual." And she says, "Huh?" And he says, "You heard me, you casual." And she was just like, she feels like crisscrossing the nigga, but that nigga will crisscross her so many freaking ways, it's not even gonna be funny. Like, bruh. This is what my kid Garo will look like anyway. Well, kid Deku for when I do Garo. But anywho, he just smiles at her like this and he says, yeah. Well, you gonna sign me up for school or what? He's smiling. She just like, male. And like Inko, she gets home and she's like, "Oh, sorry sir," because this nigga's tall. He is 6'1" at 6 years old. Because think about it, Boros was like what, 8 feet tall or so. But then again, he was like what, 32? Or at least 100, I think. But that man's age was like never confirmed, my nigga. So in my case, he was at least 16 to 28. 32, and that's pushing it. But anywho, they say, "Nah, nigga, you ain't going to no school. You can sign yourself up for middle school later on." He says, "Okay." And this nigga was like 6 at that point, so he waits, or he trains more for like 5 years, and now this nigga has a 20 pack. Cause why not? Bruh, it's really funny, cause this nigga and Alucard essentially do the same thing. They have power downs, bruh. Like, to think about it, in Meteoric Burst, that's essentially his actual base form. But this nigga had to create a new one because he was too freaking strong. Like, bruh. And he wanted to enjoy a fight, my nigga. And he made like a shrinking device with his creation quirk, so he can shrink himself back into like baby size. Cause yeah, But he applies, and he goes to the same school as Fem Todoroki. So Fubuki, my nigga, aka Shawty looking bad. Yo, my nigga, where it at? Yo, my nigga, what happened to it? No, go down. But, yeah. That's low-key scary, but, anywho. Bruh, this is the chibi that I should have had, but, anywho. What, nigga, no, you stay. Add one more. But, anywho. The teacher, she announces that they're gonna be having a, new student. And they're all like, oh, I wonder what her quirk is. And the teacher goes, it's a boy. And they were all like, in this elite school? How? And they say, one, he's the son of All Might. And the number 3 and 5 hero, Tornado. Or, no, Telek. Yeah, Telek. Telek. Yeah, Telek. But, yeah. The proportions. Anywho. But, there we go. But, anywho. She still has, like, the red and white hair, though. So, like, half it, you get what I mean. The side on the right is white. Side on the left is red. And she still has, her quirk. But she also has a third one. So, she has telekinesis as well. I mean, it's pretty strong. But compared to my nigga Boros, aka Deku, cause Deku that nigga. Is nothing. But like this nigga, he shrunk himself down to the size of a Funko Pop and was just chilling on her desk, just munching on the snacks that you see in this photo. Or heck, I'm gonna add this to my photos. And then like she just then noticed but he was in like his base form with his armor and stuff on. Or nah, with the middle school uniform on. PS, tilt your screens so that way it looks like this. But anyway, she looks at it and she's like, huh? Whose little pet thing is this? And he says, I'm not a pet. In like a deep, groggy voice. And he's like, hello, yes, I'm your new student. Yeah, I'm your fellow classmate. Call me Boros. And they're all just like, you look so cute. And he says, this isn't my real size though. And they're all just like, eh. And he just like nibbles on like the little snack stuff and like throws it in his mouth. And then like he hops off of her desk and then goes into his real size. Nigga's chilling at a solid 8'1". And Nail's just like, nigga, excuse me, how you go from 4 inches to 8 foot? And he says, like I said, that's not my real size. I mean, it makes it easier to get around and all. And they're like, okay. Do you even have a quirk? Since you wanted to come to this elite school? And he says, yes. Multiple, technically. Because he regards it as a quirk so that nobody knows that. Nigga. I am built different. I am God of universe. But, anywho. He, says, I have a quirk called Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Within it, I control how time moves. I can cast it on a general area and slow down time there. But I only use it for training. I mean, I trained for 800,325 billion years in there, so. And they said, how long have you been alive? And he said, oh, no, I'm only 13. And they said, so then how the. And he says, oh, training in there will. I mean, I won't age while I'm in there. And plus, that long in there is only like an hour in the outside world. And they're all just like, nickel, excuse me. And then he says, yeah, and I trained like that for like 11 years of my life. Or no, 12 years of my life. And they said, you've been training since 1. And he says, yep. And they're all just sitting here like, ah. And he says, and I have multiple forms. And they're all just like, eh. What do you mean multiple forms? And he says, my base that you see now. Well, my power restriction. My actual power form. As he turns into this. And they're all just like, this nigga stuntin'. But, she said, yep. I mean, but he said, yeah. And then meteoric burst turns into this. He says, meteoric burst, full power. His hair grows longer and it's spikier. Like in this picture. But it's like a little shorter than this, so it's like only at like to his knee. And then he says, galactic burst. And his hair grows shorter, but it's a lot spikier. And they're just sitting here just like, but the nigga has no clothes on. And so he just says, but yeah, I'ma just show on this woman's dad. And he's just like, wait a second, what is your name? And she says, and she says, Shoto. And he says, nice to meet you. I'll be using your desk. And she's like, eh. He's like, yep. And they're like, but how do you manage your size? And he says, this whole thing that I created with my creation quirk. And like Momo, she's just like, huh, I also have a creation quirk. He's like, can you also create living beings? And she's like, huh? He says, oh, you can't, but I can. And I'm talking about in 2 different ways. And he starts laughing, and like all the girls are like blushing. He's just like, and he says, well, I'm gonna take a nap. Goes into like his smaller form, creates a pillow, and then like lays down on her desk, like while in meteoric burst. And like they say, I wonder if he doesn't weigh as much in his smaller form. And like they all try to pick him up. This nigga weighs over 2 tons. Like everybody's trying to pick him up. Even the girl with like a strength enhancement quirk. She can only lift him up like an inch before dropping him. And then like he's like hits like the edge of the desk like his jaw does. And he like wakes up. And he's like flying in midair. And he's like, okay, what were y'all doing to wake me up? He like yawns. And he goes into like his base form. And like the armor appears on top of him. The black and blue. You wanna be the nigga up in black and blue? But yeah. And they're just like, we weren't doing anything. He's like, obviously you were. And he smiles like this, and he says, aw, don't be telling me you're already trying to get some. And they all just blush and faint. And the teacher, she's just like, not gonna lie, I would, but then I'd go to jail. And he says, hey, yo, what? It was a joke. And she says, I don't care. Like, eyeing him up and down. And, like, bites her lip. And he's like, okay. And, like, later on, they have, like, gym class. Shoto, she's wearing this. And Deku, he like looks over at her, sees this. He blushes, looks away, and says, calm down. Do not arise, my member. Like, why does everybody call it a member? You didn't see a thing. But bruh, that booty shorts. Like, bruh, let's all be honest. And he just says, it's the booty shorts for me. And like me, I just like pop into his head. And he says, yup. And I just go, yup. He's like, Goku? And he's like, yes. So, go gutter tiger. And I just dissipate, and he's just like, just like questioning himself. But, they have gym class, and it's like sparring matches. So like, he's just like sitting out and just like watching everybody's. And then the teacher says, alright, Boros, you versus Shoto. He says, alright. And he says, okay, how much of my power do you want me at? And they go, full. And he's like, so you want me to kill her? Like, none of that. And they all say, what? And he says, yeah, you must want me to kill her if you want me to go full power. Like, like, even my mother all might knows not to say that. I've almost killed her on several occasions. Because she wanted to call me a filthy male. So I showed her what a filthy male could do. He says, like, menacingly, and they're all just, like, scared a little. And she says, yeah, whatever. I bet you aren't as strong as me. And he says, I'm the strongest in the universe. And that popped into his head, and I'm like, you're forgetting that I made you. He says, so are you my dad or something now, nigga? And he says, matter of fact, and I go, matter of fact, I am, nigga. And he goes, well, thanks, Pops. And I just go, yep. Alright, bye. I'm that one deadbeat dad that just pops in, and I popped in for, like, all of his birthdays and stuff. I gave him a, time ring. So, yeah, now he has one. But, anywho, she summons her ice, and she, like, makes, like, a bunch of shards, and she, like, lifts them all up into the air. And she has, like, a magenta aura. And she, like, launches them all at Deku. He dodges them all with finesse, and he says, why don't you use your fire? And she says, I'll never use my mother's quirk. And he says, why not? And she says, because it's her quirk. And he says, nah, it's yours. You just don't realize it yet. And plus, if it's hers, then why are you in her body then? Because if so, I'm going to need you to give Endeavor's body back before I send you home in a body bag. And he, like, gets cold. And they're all just like, nigga, excuse me? He says, sorry, old habits. And he just says, alright. Dashes towards her in base form. Kicks her once. Boom. She's knocked out the entire building. She went through 72 walls, by the way. And then he just, like, teleported behind her. Caught her, and he was like, guess I went a little overboard. And he, like, laughs a little. And so, Deku, he heals her, and she's like, He's, like, slowly flying back to school, and he's, like, carrying her bridal style, and she's like, huh? What are you doing, you pervert? And he says, huh? No. I healed you from dying. Because I legit almost killed you with one kick. And she says, you pervert. Like, she calls him a pervert a bunch of times. And he says, whatever, stop. And also, nice booty shorts. And she says, huh? And he says, nice booty shorts. And she just, like, looks at him. And she just says, pervert. And he just says, I'm sorry that you look cute. And she's like, I look what? And he says, you look cute. Now stop making me say things. And she asks him for his number. He gives it to her. And my God, yes sir. Bruh. I have officially peaked, to say the least. But, anywho. Deku being, well, Deku. He gives it to her, and he says, yeah, call me whenever. It's lunchtime, and he goes out onto the roof, sits down, and eats some katsudon. And then after that, he creates a let's go with frozen ice. He goes with a soft serve ice cream machine for the school, and he like puts it near the bathrooms. And then he puts 2 of them in the lunchroom, and then he puts a drink machine in there, a snack dispenser machine, and a food dispenser. So you can select a food, and it'll give it to them for like 90 cents. And he's the only person who has a key, so he makes money from that as well. He has 3,000 of them stationed in Japan alone. And in America, he has 2,000. And that's just in like one part. But in total for Japan, he has 1 million of them stationed. And in America, he has 1 billion of them stationed. So yeah. And so this nigga, at the end of the day, he goes around to all of them, and he's like picking up the money and stuff. And Shota, she has one that Endeavor dragged like all the way to her house, because she thought, why not? I'm going to steal this. But yeah. And so Deku, being him, he's searching for it, and then he sees it like on their like outdoor patio, and they're out, and female Endeavor, she's just she's having a barbecue with like the top 15 heroes and their families. And Deku, he sees All Might there, and Izumi and Inko, and he like flies down. He just drops down, and he's like, hello, why did you steal my machine? And she's like, what do you mean your machine? This one was stationed here by the company that makes these. And he's like, a company doesn't make those, I do. And she's like, And he's like, yeah, I make those. What are you doing with my way of making money? And she's like, using it. And he's like, you could have just asked for rental. And she's like, wait, you do that? And he's like, yeah. And if you wanted to buy one, it's only like 600 yen. You could have just asked to buy one. But instead, you decide to take my machine. Why? And like, All Might, she's just like, Boros, how many times have I told you? Respect the women in your life. And he's like, yeah, Mom. But still, she took my machine. And without asking. And she's like, I shouldn't have to ask. And he's like, yes, you should. Like, yes, you should. Bruh. The Tiggo bitties. But, anywho. So, this nigga being, this nigga, he looks, and he says, where's Shota anyway? And Endeavor's like, how do you know my daughter's name? And he's like, we go to the same school. And she's like, so Trash is going to my daughter's school? What are you doing, you pervert, trying to pick up girls? And he's like, no, I'm more concerned about training. I just wanted to ask her if she was okay after I kicked her through 72 walls, 12 buildings, and a bus. And she like spits out her drink and she's like, you did what? And he's like, all I did was kick her once and she went flying, okay? And not my issue that she's that weak. But, and like, she walks out from like her training and she says, I am not weak, you pervert. And he's like, how am I a pervert? I did nothing. And she's like, you complimented my booty shorts. And he was like, because I like your taste and style, okay? Like, that's being a pervert since when? And him being who he is, he says, you know what? Okay. And like this entire time, he was in like his small form. And he like goes into like normal size, but he's wearing like this hoodie and pants. And he says, you niggas do far, and I mean far too much. And they're like, we do not. He's like, yes y'all do. But, yeah. But, anywho. He says, alright, in that case, if these top 15 heroes can beat me, then I'm a pervert. But if I can beat them, you have to go on a date with me. And she's like, huh? Pervert? See? That's another reason why you're a pervert. You know you can win, so you just want to go on a date with me. And he's like, well, yeah. Because one, you're cute, and I'm pretty sure you're the strongest in that class. And two, you're pretty smart. And she's like blushing the entire time, and she says, alright, fine then. Top 15 heroes, fight him. And they're all just like, nunny. Like, you want us to fight that nigga? The nigga that beats the crap out of All Might? Like, almost every day. Like, excuse me. Like, you do realize that that nigga beats the crap out of All Might for breakfast. Like, he's stronger than All For One and All Might combined. Like, excuse me. And then, like, All For One, she's, like, spying on them. He, like, teleports to All For One. Well, All For One. Grabs her. Yeets her down to their, like, dinner party or whatever. He says, speaking of which, here she is. She was spying on you guys. And she was like, Toshinori never invites me to events. And she's like, why would I? You're a villain. And she says, it doesn't matter. It's called common decency. Deku just standing there just like, okay. He takes off his shirt and he's just like, alright, let's fight. And he changes his pants into the ones that are on here with the boots. And they're just like, this nigga. And he's just like, come on, let's fight. And like, they're like, alright, we can beat him. I mean, there are 15 of us, and only one, or 16 of us, and only one of him, right? They all dash at this nigga, sending like all their like strongest attacks and like iconic moves. Nigga, Ultra Instinct, yink, 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 dodge, 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 dodge. We block those. And like, he sees All Might and he's like, we body those. Axe kick. Teleports behind her. Fake jab. Teleports behind her super fast because that was an after image. And then goes bop, bink, bada bop, boom, pow. how career ended for All Might. Well, not really. And then goes over to Film All for One. And he's like, hey, what's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watch it. And like Film All for One, she just says, what? And he just says, bink. Boom. She goes, bye-bye. Like, he knocked her out on sight, my nigga. He proceeds to body the top 15 heroes. And he's just like standing on their bodies. And he's just like, now can we go on a date? And Shoto, she's just standing in amazement. And she's like, you really are the strongest being in the universe? He says, yep, minus my dad. And she's like, who's he? And he says, Goku. Black. I then teleport to him, and I'm just like, yes, my nigga. Like, yes, my son. And he just says, oh, hi, dad. And she, like, gets a good look at me. She sees my gi and the, under tight shirt. And she's just like, how old are you, by chance? And he's like, and I'm just sitting here like, 16. And they're like, so then that means that you had him when you were 3. And he's like, no. Nigga, why am I hearing, freaking King of the Dead? Sorry, y'all, I'm about to, Bluetooth my phone. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna be a lot louder. To y'all. But, anywho. Nah, never mind. But, anywho. So, this nigga Deku. He says, I'll take that as a yes. And she's just like, alright. Tomorrow at 6, I guess? And she's like, alright. She wearing this, my guy. And he's just wearing like a blazer with a hoodie under it. And then some jeans. And he looks at her. And he says, Shawty looking bad. And he like looks at her tickle bitties. He says, and you ain't wearing no bra? And she's like, huh? And she like looks down and she's like, I forgot. And this nigga, he just looking and he like, shit, you ain't got no complaints from me. Like, but they go to like dinner. They go to the arcade, I guess. Yeah, they go to the arcade, they go to the boardwalk, and then they go to the beach. And she said, you know what, you're a pretty cool guy. And he says, yep. You willing to date me? And he like laughs a little. And she says, actually, I wouldn't mind it. And he says, huh, wait, what? Like, he's just like, I didn't think that would work, but, yes. And she's like, don't get too full of yourself. And she like puts a finger on his lips, and he's just like, I want to marry this woman. Like, it does not matter. Like, anybody can catch the smoke if they want to lay a hand on her, my nigga. Like, this nigga is legit prepared to give anybody to smoke since they want to touch her. But yeah. And so, Deku being Deku. What? Chicken nuggets. Sorry, y'all. Slight interruption by my mother. But, anywho. He decides to, take a nap on her, like, shoulder when they get into class. And they're all just like, huh? You're letting him take a nap on your shoulder? And she just says, yeah. And he's just wearing, like, a hoodie and some shorts. The hoodie is the, Opie shirt, but in, purple and blue. Or not, black and blue. And then the shorts he has are just some, black and blue, Adidas shorts. I hate this, though. I hate having this picture. Because, my cousin, she's like a background artist. So she had drawn the background. And then she can't draw people. So she asked if I could draw Billie Eilish for her. So she could submit it as like a fan art contest. I hated it, even though I got $50 out of it. Because the prize was like $100. But I had to draw this, and so now it's in my photos, sadly. So yeah. Now that's just chilling. And that's like the only one that I have like that. And I hate it. I mean, I don't personally like Billie Eilish's songs, but I personally don't really care for them. But my cousin begged me to do it, so I had to. That, and she's my favorite cousin, so. I'm deleting all these because I already posted them. But, anywho. So. Deku, he's just taking a nap on her shoulder. And she just, like. And he, like, lifted, like, all of his weight off of her. But he's just, like, sleeping. And they're all just looking at him like, he's so cute when he's sleeping. And, like, even the teacher, she goes, yeah, he's like a class pet. And he, like, hears this, and he's like, who are you calling a pet? Like, just menacingly. And then, he's, like, laying down on the table this time. And so, like, he gets up. And then, like, he's about to, like... Huh? But, anywho. So... What do you mean, why? I don't. I have a bunch of ones. I have a bunch of ones.
Well, you got 10 ones.
But then why does she want... What?
Danny needs change, baby.
Hold up, wait a second. Why are y'all coming to me with this?
Huh?
I said, hold up, wait a second. Why are y'all coming with me
Because,
to this? Check with my mom. But, anywho.
You're not coming down.
But, anywho. Sorry for the little interruption. And I do have 2 5s. I just don't want to give it to them. Because, the Benny person that they are talking to, well, talking about, is my auntie's little crackhead boy toy. So, no, I'm not contributing to that. But, anywho. And plus, I don't want no dirty money from over at her house. Her house infested with roaches, fam. I'm good. But y'all like, money is money. And I'm like, yeah, I got the same amount. I don't need that. But, anywho. Shoto, she just, like, puts a finger on. Of course I have to. Oh. Man, like I said, all I got is ones. Sorry, all immobile, what if? Because these look rich. What? It's a 10 and a bunch of ones. You gotta be bothered to do. Sorry, all that I'm being bothered and whatever. But, yeah, since my family doesn't understand the position of not bothering somebody, but that's a different story. But, yeah. So it's just like the, bottom right. You got $1 here.
Maggie wants to be
I had A5.
I have to go. It's been too long to find us.
That's what I said. You got a 1?
What does
I
he
don't.
need 2 5s for if he ain't
Everybody got
don't know where to spend them?
My God. I hate having to. Could just keep my money, but no, I didn't need to. I hate family. Anywho. But yeah, it's just like this bottom right picture. And he's just like barraging punches. And she like feels like the air current just like hitting her, and she's just like barrage. And keep in mind, he's in meteoric burst because he feels more comfortable in that form, and it doesn't shorten his lifespan. And on top of that, he has immortality. So even if his lifespan were shortened, but anywho. Deku, again, being Deku, goes and it's just like, and she like knocked out, and he's like, and he like flies up to her and he says, "You okay?" And he like heals her, and she like, "Wait, what?" Anyhow, so but anywho, since she was like knocked out, bruh, but he was like, "Sorry," and she's like, "Whatever, you stubborn 4-inch tall thing." He's like, "Thing? I'm being called a thing even though I'm your boyfriend?" And like the rest of the class hears this, and she's like, "Hey, that's private knowledge." And he's like, "Not anymore." And she's just like, "You annoy me." And he's like, "Yet you still love me." Yes, bruh. Sundays. Sorry. But anywho. So he like starts munching on the snacks, and she's like, "What are those anyway?" He's like, "Oh, they're chocolate filled wafers. Want to try one?" And he like raises one up to her, and in his like chibi form, and she's just like, "Yeah." She bends her face down and goes nom on it, and she like feels something like meaty, and she's like, "Huh? I thought you said it was chocolate." And he's like, "You bit off my hand." And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And she like is like, "Is there any way to help it?" And it just regrows, and he says, "No, I just regrow it, but that hurt a little." And she says, "How much did it hurt?" And he's like, the equivalent of being flicked. And she's like, But anywho, so she asks him if he has a form where he looks like a normal boy. He says, "I do. I don't want to be in it, but sure, I'll show you." Pink hair. And I'm not talking Psyche, my boy. He looks like this, but with Boros's hair. And like every girl in the classroom just looks at this man and they say, "Too handsome." And he says, "Yep, this is why." "Now, do you want competition?" And she says, No. And he's like, "Okay then." And Yeah. But, anywho. He says, you know what? I'm gonna stay in this form for a little while. And, lunchtime rolls around. He goes and grabs an ice cream from one of his ice cream machines. And for him, it's free. And he has, like, a, chocolate dipped, vanilla ice cream, like the ones from Dairy Queen. My God, are those things amazing. But, anywho. Time skip, like, 2 years. This nigga, he has a 24 pack, and this is during the 10 months of training. And him and Shota have done the devil's tango on multiple occasions. Endeavor, she always said that she was being too loud and she needed to keep her endurance up. And she said, that nigga has infinite stamina. How do you beat infinite stamina? And Endeavor's like, you can't, it's infinite stamina. And he's like, exactly. And she's like, exactly. And she's like, You know what? I have an idea. Call Fuyumi. Call Mirako, Midnight, Ryuko, and Mountain Lady. We'll see what we can do. And she's like, huh? And he's like, orgy. And she's like, oh my God, we're going to lose. And she says, maybe. But at least we'll get the pleasure from it. And he gets a call from her and telling him to come over. He comes over and he's just like in his human form, and like none of them have ever seen this nigga in his human form. He knocks on the door, and Endeavor, she's like, who are you? He says, oh hey Endeavor. And she hears Deku's voice, but it's not his body. And she's like, okay, well, how are you human now, Boros? And he says, I've technically always been. I just prefer my other forms. But she told me to come over in my human form. And she's like, while female Endeavor is wearing a bikini. Bruh. Them Tango bitties, bruh. I have idea. You all are going to love me for this. You're welcome. This one, my guys. Bruh. She's just like, so he's the guy that we're supposed to... And Shota, she's just like, yes. But, yeah. So, that nigga, Yeah, he have a good night. Oh hey, look, they solved another one of my problems. But she were in this one. Little him got exhausted. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, America midnight. Yeah. So then we type in bruh, bet you there'll be nothing. Or not, I bet you there'll be something. Oh hey, I spelled it wrong. You're welcome. But yeah, she's just wearing one like this. It's like a one-piece one, but she still get filled. Anywho, that nigga had one of the best nights of his life. He like woke up to like Shota on top. Oh wait, Fuyumi. I was like, I feel like I'm missing a character. Yep. Yep. But anyway, so this nigga, he gets up, cooks breakfast for everybody. Shota, she's the first person to get up. She gets dressed, and like this nigga, he's already dressed. He wearing this fit, or nah, he's wearing partially the normal fit, but he has like a skin tight black shirt on, and he's in his uniform. And she's like, I see you're more comfortable being in your uniform. He's like, yeah. Y'all really had to rob me of that much. And she says, you still have infinite stamina. How did you get robbed of any? And he's like, I didn't. I just wanted to make you feel like you accomplished something. And she's like, you bastard. He's like, too bad. You still love me. He's like laughing. And she's just like, whatever. Kisses him. And this is during like the 10 months training. Anywho, let's skip to first day of UA because they both got automatic accepted. But anywho, this nigga, he just is sleeping on her head. Like this, the top right. Hey, come on. Yep. And like all the other girls, when they come in, they're like, oh, what's that cute thing on your head? And she says, oh, that's my boyfriend. And they're like, oh, he didn't get accepted, so he just wanted to milk you to get in here. How pathetic. And she says, nope, he ranked first in the entrance exam. And like Femme Bakugo, she's like, you're joking, right? No male could ever do that. And he like wakes up as soon as he hears that. Slumber. simplest way to put it. Slumber. Like, she sent her into a slumber. And he, like, woke up, and he was, like, fully woken up. So he just made more of the cocoa wafers. And was just eating them with Shota. And she's like, why do you like these so much? And he's like, they're not too sweet. They have just the right amount of crunch. They're amazing. And she's like, and to think you sell these things as well. How much did you even make last year? He says, billions. And she says, wow, people really must like snacks and drinks and ice cream. He's like, yep, especially in America. That's where I mainly got my money. Get it? Because America has an obesity problem. I say, having, yep. But shout out to all my bigger guys. We bigger, we stronger. We may not be faster, but I'm still pretty fast. I can outrun most people on a good day. Minus my mother when she's holding a belt. I know not to run then, or else it'll hurt worse later. But anywho, Femaizawa, she like wakes up and then yeah. Quick assessment test. They asked for him to throw the ball and to not be so small. And he's like, don't worry, I'm not small. And he's been in like this form, or like in his base form, not in his human form, because he doesn't want to be in it around them. He just only wants to be in it around Sho. And that's his nickname for Shota. He yawns. Goes to his normal size, which is 8'1". And they're just like, nigga's big. And he says, that's what Sho said last night. And they're like, huh? And she says, what we do in our private time is none of their business. And he says, I know. He's like laughing. And he just launches that thing. She looks down and she's like, infinity. And they were all just like, nigga, excuse me? He says, infinity. And he's like, oh, I should have gotten more. And they're like, nigga, there's no more than infinity. And he says, actually, infinity is a concept, not a number. And they're just like, this nigga. He's like, just ask Nezu. I'm smarter than her. And they're all like, but nobody's smarter than Nezu. And he's like, refresh your phones. They refresh it. And they just see this nigga. And he's just like laughing. He just says, it's funny how you think a male can't do anything, yet he's A, the strongest in UA, 2, stronger than all of you, and 3, the smartest being on this planet. And she's just like, will you stop showing off? He's like, yeah, sorry, I just need to let males have a victory. But, yeah, this is where I'll be ending it off. Bet y'all can't wait for What If Deku was Garo. But, anywho, bye.